The large meeting room was quiet except for the soft hum of air filters. Captain Jae-ho Kim stood tall, his blue uniform pressed perfectly for this historic moment. He took a deep breath. Today, humans would meet aliens for the first time. "They're coming," whispered Dr. Hoon Park beside him. Her eyes were wide with excitement. As Earth's best expert on possible alien life, she had waited her whole career for this day. Jae-ho nodded. "Remember the plan. Be friendly, be respectful, and watch everything they do." The doors at the far end of the room slid open. Jae-ho felt. His heart beat faster as the aliens entered the room. The Xylar, as they called themselves in the messages they had sent ahead, were nothing like what Jae-ho had expected. They were tall, nearly 7 feet, with bodies that seemed too thin to support their height. Their skin was silver and shiny, almost like liquid metal that moved as they walked. They had 4 arms instead of 2, each ending in hands with 6 long fingers. Their faces had 2 large eyes that changed color as they looked around the room. 5 of them entered, moving with strange grace. They seemed to flow rather than walk, each step smooth and perfect. Next to them, Jae-ho suddenly felt clumsy and heavy. "Welcome to Earth," Jae-ho said, bowing slightly as he had been told was proper. "I am Captain Jae-ho Kim of the United Earth Defense Force." The alien in front, wearing a robe of shimmering blue fabric, bowed in return. Its movements were beautiful to watch, like water flowing. "I am Ambassador Tal of the Xylar Confederation," the alien said. Its voice was musical, rising and falling in strange patterns. "We bring greetings from the 17 worlds of our people." Dr. Ha-Eun Park stepped forward and bowed as well. "I am Dr. Ha-Eun Park, Earth's chief scientist for this meeting. We have many questions if you are willing to answer." Ambassador Tal's eyes shifted from green to blue. "Questions are the beginning of understanding. We also have much to learn about humans." The meeting continued for hours. The human team, made up of 20 top scientists, military leaders, and government officials, sat across a long table from the 5 Xylar visitors. They discussed basic things first: how their ships traveled between stars, what their home planet was like, how their society worked. Jae-ho noticed something strange as the meeting went on. Every time a human would reach for a glass of water or shift in their seat, the Xylar would watch with great interest. At first, he thought they were just being careful, watching for threats. But there was something else in the way they looked. Something like surprise. During a short break, Jae-ho pulled Dr. Ha-Eun aside. "Have you noticed how they watch us move?" he asked quietly. Ha-Eun nodded. "Yes. And have you seen how they move? So smooth and fast. Their muscles, or whatever they have, must work very differently from ours." "Do you think they're judging us?" Jae-ho wondered. "I think they're studying us just as we're studying them," Ha-Eun replied. "But I don't think they expected us to be so different." What neither of them knew was that the Xylar were indeed making judgments, and not favorable ones. In the private room where the aliens had been given to rest, Ambassador Tal was speaking to his team. "Their movements are so slow," said Mev, the Xylar science officer. "They seem to fight against their own gravity with every step." "And their response times," added Lur, the security officer. "I tested them by dropping my data pad. None of them even began to react until it was halfway to the floor. By our standards, they're barely conscious." Ambassador Tal's skin rippled, showing agreement. "This changes our approach. The High Command believed humans might be a potential threat based on their rapid technological advancement. But seeing them in person, I believe those fears are unfounded." "They're like the Drell species from the outer systems," said Kier, the cultural analyst. "Intelligent but physically limited, they will find their place in the galactic community but not as equals." "We should continue as planned," Tal decided. "Offer them basic technology exchanges, establish trade routes, begin the integration process. They pose no competitive threat to Xylar interests." The aliens didn't know that the meeting room was carefully monitored. While they couldn't understand the Xylar language, human scientists were recording everything, studying their tones, movements, and the changes in their skin color. Back in the main room, the meeting started again. This time, Jeho paid closer attention to how the Xylar moved. They were incredibly fast when they wanted to be. An aide brought in a tray of drinks, and when one glass tipped, the nearest Xylar caught it before it had barely begun to fall. The movement was so quick that Jeho almost missed it. "We would like to propose a cultural exchange," Ambassador Tal said toward the end of the meeting. "A small group of your scientists could visit our ship, and we could share some of our basic technology as a gesture of friendship." Dr. Yoon Tae-min, the technology expert on the human team, leaned forward with interest. "What kind of technology do you mean?" "Nothing that would unbalance your development," Tal said smoothly. "Perhaps improved energy storage systems, some agricultural techniques that might help your food production. Small steps toward a beneficial relationship." Jeho noticed how the alien emphasized small steps, as if they were speaking to children. Something felt off about the whole exchange, but he couldn't put his finger on what it was. "We would be honored," said Dr. Ha-yun, though Jeho could tell from her voice that she also sensed something strange. "When would this exchange begin?" "Perhaps in your next day cycle? We could welcome 10 of your scientists aboard our vessel for a tour and initial discussions." After the meeting ended and the Xylar returned to their ship, which hovered high above the city, the human team gathered in a secure room. "They're hiding something," Jeho said immediately. "They look at us like we're primitive." "I caught that too," said Dr. Ha-eun. "They move so differently than we do. I think they believe we're physically inferior." Professor Lee Jin-ho, an expert in body language, nodded in agreement. Their gestures changed after they watched us for a while. They became less formal, more relaxed, as if they decided we weren't a threat. "Should we cancel the exchange?" asked a government official. Jeho thought for a moment. "No. If they underestimate us, that might be an advantage. We need to learn more about them, and this is our chance." "I agree," said Ha-eun, "but we should be careful about who we send. People who are observant and quick-thinking." As they made their plans for the next day's visit to the alien ship, none of them realized just how much the Xylar had misjudged human capabilities, or how quickly that mistake would be revealed. 3 months had passed since the first meeting with the Xylar. During this time, humans and aliens had established regular contact. The Xylar had shared some basic technology, mostly related to farming and clean energy. They were friendly, but always seemed to hold back the truly advanced knowledge. Dr. Ji Woo-yoon adjusted her lab coat as she waited outside the large silver door of the Xylar ship. As head of the human scientific team, she had been invited for what the aliens called a comprehensive cultural exchange. 5 other researchers stood with her: Tae-min Choi, a young expert in brain science; Min-ji Kang, who specialized in human movement and sports; Soo-bin Lee, a quiet engineer with remarkable reflexes; Dong-hyun Park, a medical doctor; and Jun Seo Kim, a military scientist. "Remember to observe everything," Ji-woo told her team quietly. "We need to understand why they treat us like we're less advanced than they are." The silver door slid open without a sound. A Xylar scientist named Neve stood there, its silver skin shimmering under the lights. "Welcome, humans," Neve said, its voice musical and pleasant. "Today we will learn more about each other through simple tests and measurements. This is standard procedure when we meet new species." The humans followed Neve into a large circular room filled with strange equipment. 5 other Xylar scientists waited inside, each standing next to different machines. "These stations will measure various aspects of your biology," Neve explained. "Your strength, speed, senses, and brain function. We have already shared our data with you. Now we hope to learn about humans." Ji-woo nodded. "We are happy to participate. Where should we begin?" Neve guided Ji-woo to a station that looked like a chair surrounded by glowing rings. "This measures neural transmission speed, how quickly signals travel in your brain and body." Ji-woo sat down and allowed a helmet-like device to be placed on her head. It had thousands of tiny wires that barely touched her skin. The machine hummed softly. Across the room, Minji was lifting weights while sensors recorded her muscle activity. Taemin was looking at flashing pictures and describing what he saw. Subin was at a station testing reaction time, pressing buttons as lights flashed. Donghyun was having his heart and lungs examined. Junseo was solving puzzles that tested different kinds of thinking. At Jiwoo's station, something strange was happening. The Xylar scientist operating the machine made a sound like wind through leaves, their version of surprise. Is something wrong? Jiwoo asked. The readings are unexpected, the alien said. I must recalibrate the equipment. Jiwoo watched as the alien adjusted the machine, its 6-fingered hands moving quickly over the controls. When the test ran again, the alien made the same surprised sound. Meanwhile, at Subin's station, the reaction test was causing even more confusion. Subin was pressing the button almost instantly when the lights flashed, much faster than the Xylar had anticipated. You are anticipating the signals, accused the Xylar scientist. Subin shook his head. No, I'm reacting to them. Would you like to change the pattern to make sure? The alien adjusted the test to create a truly random pattern of lights. Subin still responded with remarkable speed. After several minutes, the alien stopped the test and moved away to speak with the other Xylar in their own language. Their silver skin rippled with colors as they communicated. Taemin, who had finished his own test, came over to Subin. What's happening? He asked quietly. I think I broke their test. Subin replied with a small smile. They seem surprised by how quickly I can react. Taemin's eyes widened with understanding. The neural transmission test was the same for Jiwoo. They kept recalibrating the machine as if it wasn't working properly. Across the room, Minji had moved to a new station that tested balance and coordination. The Xylar were watching her, with their color-changing eyes, their skin patterns shifting rapidly. After an hour, all the humans had completed the tests. The Xylar scientists gathered in the center of the room, speaking quietly among themselves. Their skin rippled with blues and greens. Colors the humans had learned were associated with confusion and surprise. Finally, Neve approached the human team. Your results are different from what we expected, the alien said carefully. Different? How? Asked Jiwoo. Your neural transmission speeds exceed our predicted parameters for your species, Neve explained. Based on your physical movements, we had calculated a much slower response time. Taemin stepped forward. I think I understand the confusion, he said. May I explain something about human evolution? Neve's eyes shifted to a curious yellow color. Please do. Humans evolved as both predator and prey, Taemin explained, using simple words but speaking with confidence. We had to be able to react very quickly to danger. Our muscles are different from yours. They don't allow the same smooth movement that you have, but they can react with extreme speed when needed. But you move so deliberately, said another Xylar scientist. Your walking, your hand movements, they are slow compared to our people. That's a matter of efficiency and energy conservation, Minji joined in. We don't need to move quickly all the time, so we don't. But when we need to, she snapped her fingers, the sharp sound making the Xylar flinch. We can react very fast. The Xylar scientists conferred again, their skin now showing patterns of deep purple and gold. We would like to conduct one more test, Neve said finally. A simple demonstration. The alien led them to a clear area of the room. It held up a small silver ball. I will drop this. Try to catch it. Neve held out its hand with the ball, then suddenly opened its fingers. Subin caught the ball before it had fallen 6 inches. The room was completely silent. The Xylar's skin turned a solid blue color that none of the humans had seen before. You did not tell us humans were capable of such speed, Neve said, its musical voice now flat. You didn't ask, Jiwoo replied simply. We thought you knew. After a moment of silence, Neve said, we need to report these findings to Ambassador Tal. Our understanding of humans requires significant revision. As the Xylar led them out of the testing room, Jiwoo noticed that their hosts now moved differently around them, more carefully, more alert. The easy confidence they had shown earlier was gone. On the shuttle back to Earth, the human team discussed what had happened. They underestimated us, Junseo said. They thought we were slow, because of how we normally move. But now they know different, said Subin. Did you see how they looked at us after the tests? Like they were seeing us for the first time? Jiwoo nodded thoughtfully. The question is, what will they do with this new information? Will they see us as more valuable allies now, or as potential threats? The answer came sooner than expected. As their shuttle approached the landing pad at the human base, they received an urgent message from Captain Jae-ho Kim. Return immediately, he said, his voice tense. Ambassador Tal has requested an emergency meeting with all Earth representatives. Something has changed in their approach to us, and we need to understand what. Taemin looked out the window at the massive Xylar ship hovering above the city. They thought we were slow, he said quietly. But now they're learning that appearances can be deceiving. As the shuttle landed, none of them could guess how dramatically their simple physical tests would change humanity's place in the galaxy. Captain Jae-ho Kim stood at the head of the conference table, his face serious. Around him sat Earth's top officials, scientists, and military leaders. On the other side of the table, Ambassador Tal and 4 other Xylar representatives waited, their silver skin showing patterns of deep blue and gold. Thank you for agreeing to this urgent meeting, Ambassador Tal said. Its voice was still musical, but now had a new tone that sounded almost like respect. Of course, Jae-ho replied. We are eager to hear what you wish to discuss. Tal's eyes shifted to a bright yellow. The tests conducted on your scientists have revealed something unexpected about humans. Your neural transmission speeds and reaction times are remarkable. Dr. Jiwoo Yoon, who sat next to Jae-ho, nodded. We gathered that your scientists were surprised by our results. More than surprised, Tal admitted. We have met 17 other intelligent species across our explorations. None have shown reaction capabilities like yours. A murmur went through the human side of the table. This was new information. The Xylar had never mentioned other alien species before. In light of this discovery, Tal continued, my government wishes to propose a series of friendly competitions between our peoples, tests of skill, reaction, and ability that will help us better understand each other. Jae-ho glanced at Dr. Ha-Yoon Park, who gave him a small nod. What kind of competitions do you have in mind? Jae-ho asked. Tal gestured, and one of the other Xylar stepped forward with a small device. It projected a hologram showing various activities. Simple tests, similar to your sports and games, Tal explained. Target shooting, obstacle courses, response challenges, and strategy contests, all designed to be fair for both species despite our physical differences. Minister Kang, the government's senior representative, leaned forward. And the purpose of these competitions? Cultural exchange, Tal said quickly, and to help determine how our species might best work together in the future. Jae-ho didn't fully believe this explanation. Something in the ambassador's tone suggested there was more to this request than simple cultural exchange. Still, he saw no reason to refuse. We accept your proposal, Jae-ho said. When would you like to begin? 3 days from now would be ideal, Tal replied. We will prepare the necessary equipment. After the Xylar left, the human team remained to discuss the strange meeting. They're worried about us, said General Cho, the military commander. They've realized we're not as weak as they thought. I agree, said Jiwoo. During the tests, their whole attitude changed when they saw Subin's reaction time. Ha-Eun nodded thoughtfully. We should be careful. These friendly competitions may be designed to find our weaknesses, or to confirm their new fears about our strengths, added Jae-ho. Either way, we need to prepare our best people. Over the next 3 days, the human team selected their representatives for the competitions. Subin Lee, the engineer with the fastest reflexes, would handle the reaction challenges. Minji Kang, the movement specialist, would take on the obstacle course. Junseo Kim, the military scientist, would handle the target shooting. And Taemin Choi, with his deep understanding of neurology, would lead the strategy contests. On the morning of the competition, A large field outside the main human base had been transformed. The Xylar had set up various stations, each with different equipment. A crowd of humans and a smaller group of Xylar gathered to watch. Ambassador Tal made a short speech about friendship and understanding between species. Then the competitions began. The first event was the reaction challenge. Subin stepped up to a table with 2 panels of lights. Across from him stood a Xylar competitor named Lear. When the center light turns green, press the other lights as they illuminate, explained a Xylar official. The fastest to clear their panel wins. The center light turned green. What followed was almost too fast for the crowd to see. Both Subin and Lear's hands became blurs of movement, pressing lights as they flashed on the panels. When it ended, the scoreboard showed that Subin had won by a small margin. The Xylar crowd made a sound like wind through trees, their version of surprised murmuring. Lur looked at Subin with new interest. "You are faster than expected," the alien said. But this was a simple test. The next rounds became progressively harder, with more complex patterns and faster sequences. By the final round, both competitors were performing at amazing speeds. When Subin won the final round by an even larger margin, the Xylar officials immediately called for an inspection of the equipment. "They think we're cheating," Hayun whispered to Jae-ho. After confirming there was no tampering, the competition moved to the obstacle course. Here, the Xylar had the advantage. Their flexible bodies allowed them to move through the course with fluid grace, while Minji had to work harder to navigate the same obstacles. Still, she performed better than the Xylar had clearly expected, finishing only seconds behind their competitor. The target shooting competition showed a similar pattern. The human, Junseo, displayed reaction times and accuracy that clearly surprised the Xylar. Though the alien competitor won by a small margin, it was much closer than they had anticipated. The final event was the strategy contest, where Tai Min faced a Xylar opponent in a complex game similar to chess but with 3-dimensional pieces. Here, human creativity proved valuable. While the Xylar made logical, calculated moves, Tai Min played unpredictably, taking risks that eventually led to victory. As the competitions ended, the mood among the Xylar was noticeably different. They spoke quietly among themselves. Their skin showing patterns of deep purple and gold that the humans had learned indicated serious concern. Ambassador Tal approached Jae-ho after the final scores were announced. "Your people performed exceptionally well," Tal said carefully. "Thank you," Jae-ho replied. "Your competitors were also very skilled." "Captain Kim," Tal said, its voice lower now, "my government wishes to speak with yours about matters of greater importance than what we have discussed previously. Would tomorrow be acceptable for a private meeting?" Jae-ho nodded, noting the urgency in the ambassador's tone. "Of course. What will be the subject of this meeting?" Tal's eyes shifted to a deep blue. "The truth about our presence here, and humanity's potential role in galactic affairs." After the Xylar departed, the human team gathered to discuss the day's events. "We did well," said Subin, still breathing hard from his competitions. "Better than they expected." "That's what worries me," Jae-ho replied. "They're hiding something important from us, and our performance today has forced their hand." Ha-un looked up at the Xylar ship hovering above the city. "Tomorrow we'll find out what they really want from Earth, and why they care so much about how quickly we can react." As night fell, security around the human base was doubled. No one knew what the next day would bring, but everyone understood that something fundamental had changed. The competitions had been more than games. They had been tests. And humanity's surprising performance had opened a door to greater secrets about their place in the universe. The next morning, Captain Jae-ho Kim and his team sat in a secure meeting room deep inside the Earth Defense Headquarters. Extra guards stood outside the doors. The air felt heavy with tension. "What do you think they want to tell us?" asked Dr. Hyun Park, checking her tablet one last time before the Xylar arrived. "Something they've been hiding since they got here," Jae-ho replied. He looked around the table at his team. Dr. Ji-woo Yoon, Tai-min Choi, Min-ji Kang, Subin Lee, and Junseo Kim Whatever it is, stay alert and remember that their goals may not match ours. The door slid open. Ambassador Tal entered, followed by only 2 other Xylar. This was unusual. They normally traveled in groups of 5. The ambassador's skin showed patterns of deep blue and gold which the humans had learned indicated serious matters. "Thank you for agreeing to this private meeting," Tal said, taking a seat across from Jeho. "What I must share today will change how you view our presence on Earth and your place in the wider galaxy." Jeho nodded. "We're listening." Tal's eyes shifted to a dark yellow. "First, I must confess that our interest in your species was not entirely diplomatic. The Xylar are part of a larger organization, the Galactic Confederation. It includes 17 spacefaring species, each with different strengths and abilities. This was new information. The Xylar had mentioned other species before, but never a formal organization of planets. When we discover a new intelligent species, Tal continued, we evaluate them to determine how they might fit into the Confederation. Each species has a role based on their natural abilities. "And what role did you plan for humans?" asked Ha-Yun, her voice careful and neutral. Tal's skin rippled slightly. "Based on our initial observations, we believed humans would be classified as a support species, intelligent but physically limited. Your slow, deliberate movements led us to believe your neural systems were basic." Subin, who had won the reaction competition the day before, frowned. "You judged our entire species based on how we walk." "It is more complex than that," one of the other Xylar said. "We have extensive experience with many life forms. Physical movement patterns usually correlate strongly with neural capabilities. Usually, but not always," Taemin pointed out. "Human bodies developed differently from yours. We don't always move quickly, but we can when needed." "Yes," Tal agreed. "That is precisely what has caused us to reconsider everything. Your neural reaction speeds exceed those of every known Confederation species, including the Xylar." A heavy silence fell over the room. Jeho studied the aliens carefully. "Why is that important to you?" he asked. Ambassador Tal's eyes shifted color again. "In our society, indeed in most Confederation species, those with the fastest reactions become leaders. It is the basis of our social hierarchy. Because faster reactions mean better decisions in crisis situations," Jiwoo guessed. "Exactly," Tal confirmed. "The ability to process information and respond quickly is highly valued. It determines who leads in combat, in politics, in science." Minji leaned forward. "And now you've discovered that even average humans have faster reactions than your leaders?" "Not just faster," the second Xylar said. "Significantly faster. In the combat simulations our military has run based on the new data, humans would have a major advantage in any conflict requiring quick decisions." Now, Jeho understood the real reason for the competitions. They weren't friendly games, they were combat assessments. "You see us as a threat," he stated flatly. Tal's skin pulsed with color. "We see you as unexpected. Your technology is still developing. Your society is divided. But your neural capabilities suggest that within a few generations, humans could become a dominant force in the galaxy." The third Xylar, who had been silent until now, spoke up. "The Confederation has protocols for dealing with potentially dangerous species. Containment is the standard approach." Jeho felt his muscles tense. "Containment, what does that mean?" "Limiting a species to their home planet," Tal explained quickly. "Restricting technology transfers, monitoring development." "You mean keeping us prisoner on Earth?" Junseo said, his military training evident in his hard voice. "That is one interpretation," Tal admitted, "but not the one I have recommended to my government." This surprised the humans. Jeho looked at the ambassador with new interest. "What have you recommended?" "Alliance," Tal said simply. "Full membership in the Confederation, with special status recognizing your unique capabilities." The room fell silent again. Finally, Ha-Yun spoke. "Why would you suggest alliance rather than containment?" if you see us as a potential threat. Tal's skin showed a pattern the humans hadn't seen before, a swirling mixture of colors. Because threats can become assets when properly aligned, the ambassador said. And because I believe your reaction speed is matched by another quality, your creativity. Together, these traits make humans valuable potential allies. There's something else you're not telling us, Jeho said, studying the aliens' changing skin patterns. Tal was silent for a moment. Then, the Confederation faces challenges. Beyond our known space, there are entities that move very quickly, faster than any of our species can respond to effectively. Your neural capabilities might be crucial in future encounters. Minji, always quick to spot political angles, raised an eyebrow. So you need us. The Confederation would benefit from human participation, Tal acknowledged. And humans would benefit from Confederation membership. Technology, knowledge, protection. Jeho considered this new information carefully. What happens next? I have already sent my recommendation to the Confederation Council, Tal said. They are discussing it now. If they agree, representatives from Earth would be invited to the Confederation headquarters to discuss terms of membership. And if they don't agree? Asked Jiwoo. Tal's skin darkened. Then alternative approaches would be considered. The implied threat hung in the air. Jeho knew he needed to respond carefully. Earth would prefer alliance to containment, he said firmly. But we would resist any attempt to limit our development or freedom. I expected no less, Tal replied. That is why I have argued strongly for alliance. The Xylar were once in a similar position, new to the Confederation, uncertain of our place. We found that cooperation served us better than conflict. When will we know the Council's decision? Haun asked. Soon, within your days, Tal said. Until then, we will continue our scheduled exchanges. After the Xylar left, the human team remained to discuss this startling revelation. They're afraid of us, Subin said, still surprised by the idea. Not just afraid, Junseo corrected. They're also hoping to use us against these entities they mentioned. We need to prepare for either outcome, Jeho decided. If they offer alliance, we need terms that protect Earth's interests. If they choose containment, we fight. Minji finished simply. Taemin shook his head. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. A war with species that have been traveling between stars for generations would not end well for us, no matter how quick our reactions are. As they left the meeting room, Jeho pulled Haun aside. What do you think? He asked quietly. Can we trust them? Haun considered the question. I think Ambassador Tal is being mostly honest, but I also think there's more to the story, especially about these entities beyond known space. Jeho nodded. Whatever happens next, everything has changed. Humans aren't alone in the universe, and apparently, we're special in ways we never realized. Outside, the Xylar ship hovered against the blue sky, a constant reminder that Earth's future now depended on decisions being made across the stars. 6 months had passed since the meeting with Ambassador Tal. The Confederation Council had made their decision, choosing alliance over containment, much to Earth's relief. Now Captain Jeho Kim looked out the viewport of the Xylar ship as it approached the massive space station that served as the Galactic Confederation headquarters. The station orbited a distant neutron star, far from any inhabited planet. It was enormous, bigger than any city on Earth, with sections built by each of the 17 member species to suit their own needs and biology. It's beautiful, said Dr. Ha-Yun Park, standing beside him. The station gleamed like a silver flower in space, with curved sections extending outward from a central hub. And intimidating, added Dr. Jiwoo Yoon. We're the first humans to ever see this place. The human delegation consisted of 6 people: Jeho, Ha-Yun, Jiwoo, Taemin Choi, Subin Lee, and Minji Kang. They had spent months preparing for this moment, learning about Confederation protocols, studying the other species, and deciding how to represent Earth's interests. Remember the plan, Jeho said quietly to his team. We're here to establish good relations. but also to protect Earth's freedom. Don't agree to anything without consulting each other first. Ambassador Tal approached them as the ship began its docking sequence. "We will arrive in 10 of your minutes," the Xylar said. "The Council has gathered to meet you. All 17 species have sent representatives." "Will they all look as different from us as you do?" asked Taimin, curious about alien biology. "Yes," Tal replied. "The Confederation includes many forms of life. Some breathe different gases. Some have very different body structures. The meeting chamber has been adjusted to accommodate all our needs." The ship docked with a gentle bump. After a short walk through a connecting tube, the humans found themselves in a vast circular chamber. The ceiling arched high above them, showing a view of the neutron star and surrounding space. Around the room, on different levels and in specially designed areas, were the representatives of 17 alien species. Jeho tried not to stare, but it was difficult. Some aliens looked almost like plants with green tendrils instead of limbs. Others resembled huge insects with complex eyes. One species appeared to be made of crystal, glowing from within with changing colors. The Xylar, with their silvery skin and forearms, suddenly seemed much more similar to humans compared to some of these beings. In the center of the chamber stood a raised platform. Ambassador Tal led the humans toward it. "The Prime Counselor will address you first," Tal explained. "Then you will have a chance to speak for Earth." A large, crystalline being floated down to the platform. It glowed with inner light that pulsed and changed as it spoke. Its voice was translated by small devices the humans wore in their ears. "Representatives of Earth," the Prime Counselor's voice sounded in their heads. "We welcome you to the Galactic Confederation. Your presence here marks a historic moment for all our peoples." Jeho stepped forward and bowed slightly as he had been instructed. "We thank you for this welcome and for the opportunity to join your confederation." The Prime Counselor's light pulsed. "Your species has proven most unusual. Initial reports from the Xylar indicated you would be classified as a support species. Further evaluation has revealed remarkable neural capabilities that suggest a very different role." Murmurs and various sounds came from the gathered aliens. Not all of them seemed pleased by this statement. "We have been informed of the reason for your interest in our reaction times," Jeho said carefully. Ambassador Tal mentioned entities beyond known space that move very quickly. The chamber grew quiet. The Prime Counselor's light dimmed slightly. "The Vex," the crystalline being said finally. "We have encountered them only 3 times in the last century. Each encounter has resulted in lost ships and lost lives. They move faster than any Confederation species can respond effectively. Our weapons cannot target them. Our communications cannot keep pace with their attacks." "And you think humans might help with this problem?" Jiwoo stated, understanding now the real reason for the Alliance offer. "Your neural transmission speeds suggest your species might be able to track Vex movements," said another alien, a tall being with 6 eyes arranged around its head. "Perhaps even predict them." Minji stepped forward. "Before we discuss potential conflicts, we should establish the terms of Earth's membership in your confederation. What rights and responsibilities would we have?" This led to a long discussion about Confederation rules and structure. Each species controlled its own planets and internal affairs. The Confederation handled relations between species, exploration of new systems, and common defense. Technology was shared, but each species contributed based on their specialties. "And what would Earth's specialty be?" asked Ha-Un. "Besides our reaction speed?" "That remains to be seen," the Prime Counselor replied. "Each species finds its place, over time." The Xylar are known for their diplomatic skills. The Marath, it indicated the plant-like beings, excel at biological sciences. The Orlan, the insect-like aliens, are our best shipbuilders. As the meeting continued, tensions emerged. Some species clearly viewed humans as a threat, a primitive, but potentially dangerous newcomer with abilities that challenged the established order. Others saw opportunity in human capabilities. Finally, after hours of discussion, the Prime Counselor called for a decision. "The Council will now vote on Earth's admission to the Confederation. the crystalline being announced, with special status acknowledging their unique neural capabilities and potential contribution to Vex defense. Lights flashed around the room as each species cast their vote. When it finished, the Prime Counselor's light brightened. Earth is accepted into the Galactic Confederation, it announced. Captain Kim, as leader of your delegation, please step forward to complete the ceremony. J-Ho walked to the center of the platform. The Prime Counselor extended a crystal appendage which glowed brightly. Touch your hand to mine, the alien instructed. This symbolizes the connection between our peoples. J-Ho reached out and placed his hand against the crystal surface. It was warm and seemed to vibrate slightly. For a moment, he felt a strange sensation, as if the neutron star outside and all the beings in the room were connected in a vast network of light and thought. It is done, the Prime Counselor said, withdrawing its appendage. Earth is now part of the Confederation. Your representatives will have permanent quarters here. Your ships will be welcome in all Confederation systems. After the ceremony, as the humans were shown to their new quarters, Taemin pulled J-Ho aside. They need us more than they're admitting, he said quietly. Did you notice how they all reacted when you mentioned the Vex? They're afraid. J-Ho nodded. I saw it too. These Vex must be a serious threat if they're willing to accept a new species like ours so quickly. It's ironic, Subin added. They thought we were slow and primitive. Now they're counting on our speed to save them. In their private meeting room, the human team discussed what they had learned. We should be careful, Ha-Un warned. Some of those species clearly don't trust us. They voted for alliance because they need us, not because they like us. Then we'll earn their trust, J-Ho decided, and learn everything we can about this confederation and the Vex threat. Minji smiled. Who would have thought our greatest strength would be something we take for granted? Our reaction time. It's not just our speed, Jiwoo said thoughtfully. It's how we use it. Humans have something else these aliens need, adaptability. We don't just react quickly. We change our reactions based on new information. As night cycle began on the station, J-Ho looked out at the stars from the viewport in his quarters. Somewhere out there, beyond the borders of known space, the mysterious Vex were moving. And on Earth, billions of humans were going about their lives, not yet knowing that their place in the universe had fundamentally changed. They thought we were slow, he said softly to himself. But sometimes the universe surprises you. The next day, the real work would begin. Learning alien technologies, establishing Earth's presence in the Confederation, and preparing for whatever challenges lay ahead. But for tonight, J-Ho allowed himself to simply marvel at how far they had come, all because some silver-skinned aliens had taken the time to measure a human's reaction time.